We all have that one moment that replays in our mind like a broken record. A word we shouldn't have said, a chance we didn't take, a person we lost because of our pride or silence. That sting you feel when your mind whispers, "If only," that's regret. It's quiet, but heavy. It doesn't scream, it haunts. And the truth is, no one escapes it. Even the happiest people have nights when they revisit what could have been. But what if regret isn't meant to punish you? What if it's trying to teach you how to live differently, how to forgive yourself, how to finally make peace with your past? This isn't a story about pain, it's about release. Regret is one of the most powerful and complex emotions known to humans. It combines guilt, sadness, and self-blame, but it also involves reflection and learning. Neuroscientists say regret activates the same areas of your brain that control decision-making and reward, meaning it literally teaches your mind how to choose better next time. It's your brain saying, "You could have done better, and now you know how." But here's the twist. When regret turns into rumination, it stops being useful. You start replaying instead of rewriting. And that's where most people get stuck, in a psychological loop of what-ifs. Because regret is proof of awareness. The more self-aware you are, the more you notice your mistakes. The smarter you get, the harder it becomes to forgive your past self. You start to analyze every fork in the road. What if I stayed? What if I left? What if I had been braver? But the reason regret feels so personal is because it attacks your identity. It doesn't say you made a mistake, it says you are the mistake. And that's the lie that keeps people chained to their past. Psychologists divide regret into two kinds: the regret of doing and the regret of not doing. In your 20s, you mostly regret the things you did, the wrong words, wrong jobs, wrong people. But as you age, the scale flips. You regret what you didn't do, the risks you avoided, the love you didn't express, the dreams you postponed. Because in the end, missed chances hurt more than failure ever will. Here's a strange fact. Your memories aren't accurate recordings. They're stories your brain edits every time you recall them. Each replay adds new emotion, new perspective, sometimes guilt, sometimes justification. That means you're not regretting the past event, you're regretting the story you've been telling yourself about it for years. The moment you change that story, your relationship with the past changes too. One reason regret thrives is because we believe there was a perfect decision we missed. But psychology calls this counterfactual thinking, the fantasy of a parallel life where everything worked out. It's an illusion, because even in that perfect scenario, you'd still find something to regret. The truth is, perfection doesn't exist, only trade-offs. You didn't make the wrong choice, you made the best one possible with the awareness you had then. When we regret, we often become both the prisoner and the judge. We replay, criticize, and sentence ourselves to emotional pain as if suffering could erase the past. But punishment doesn't purify, it paralyzes. It keeps you stuck in analysis instead of action. True healing begins not when you erase the past, but when you stop demanding that your past self should have known what your present self knows now. Look back at the version of you that made that mistake. That person was trying, maybe scared, maybe uninformed, maybe doing their best with limited clarity. You wouldn't condemn a friend for that, would you? So why condemn yourself? Empathy is how regret turns into wisdom. The past doesn't change, your relationship with it does.
Regret triggers the same stress circuits as physical pain, but mindfulness and self-compassion literally deactivate those neural pathways. When you name your regret, observe it, and breathe through it, your amygdala calms and your prefrontal cortex takes over. That's when logic and forgiveness return. You're not your thoughts, you're the awareness behind them. And awareness is always stronger than emotion. If only I had, it's the most dangerous sentence in human history. It looks like reflection, but feels like self-torture. Every if only creates an alternate universe where you imagine being happier, but that version doesn't exist. The more you chase it, the further you drift from peace. Freedom starts when you stop chasing the life that never happened and start appreciating the one that did. Regret isn't a curse, it's a compass. It shows you what truly matters to you. If you regret not speaking up, it means honesty is your value. If you lose someone, it means love still matters to you. Regret is emotional evidence of growth. Instead of hating it, listen to it. It's trying to guide you back to authenticity. We often regret more when we compare our choices to others. You see someone succeed where you failed, and your mind whispers, "That could have been me." But you're not seeing their path, only their highlight reel. Every timeline has its own pain. You just don't see theirs. When you stop comparing your path, your regret loses its fuel. Forgiveness doesn't mean you approve of what happened. It means you're done carrying it. It's choosing to stop being the victim of a past moment. And when you forgive yourself, you signal to your mind that you're ready for new experiences. Without forgiveness, the door to the future stays locked. Many great artists, writers, and thinkers transformed their deepest regrets into masterpieces. Regret is emotional energy. If you don't suppress it, you can channel it. It's the spark that says, "I want to live differently." That's why people who faced regret often have the deepest wisdom, because they've touched truth. The present moment is the only place where you can rewrite the past. Every kind word you speak today rewrites a memory of your past silence. Every risk you take now heals the regret of the chances you didn't. You don't erase regret by thinking about it, you erase it by living differently now. Wisdom is simply regret that's been understood. It's when the pain transforms into a principle, a quiet rule you live by. Instead of hating your mistakes, you thank them for their message, because without regret, you wouldn't have evolved. Peace isn't forgetting, it's remembering without pain. It's when the memory still exists but doesn't control you. You can revisit your past and smile gently, knowing it shaped you but doesn't define you. That's emotional maturity, to touch your scars without reopening them. One of the hardest truths about regret is realizing some stories will never have closure. You may never get the apology you deserved. You may never understand why someone left or why life turned out the way it did. And that's okay. Closure isn't something you get, it's something you create. You create it by accepting that you won't always get answers and deciding to move forward anyway. You make peace not because the story ended neatly, but because you refuse to let it poison your present. That's the difference between pain and wisdom. Pain waits for explanation. Wisdom moves even without it. This is the final transformation, when you can look back and say, "Thank you, regret." Because without that mistake, you wouldn't have grown. Without that loss, you wouldn't value connection. Without that pain, you wouldn't have found your strength. Regret doesn't have to be a scar, it can be a seed. It planted humility, empathy, and understanding in you. It shaped your moral compass, your purpose, your voice. So instead of hating it, ask, what did that moment teach me about who I am now? That shift from resentment to gratitude is how healing becomes transformation. And when you can thank your past for its lessons, you no longer carry regret, you carry wisdom. Every human carries a box of regrets. But within that box lies the map of your becoming. Regret is not the enemy of happiness, it's the teacher of meaning. You are not the sum of your mistakes, you are the courage it took to face them. Make peace with your past, not because it was perfect, but because it's over. And once you stop fighting what can't be changed, you'll finally feel free to live what can be.